What's going on? I'm the last professional broadcaster, Sam Roberts, and this is not Sam's 90-day dissection. Look, I thought that the 90-day talk needed an entirely separate vehicle from Sam Roberts Now, where we've talked about it for years at this point. I've been a fan of 90 Day Fiancé since season 1, episode 1, and this is the one television franchise, all spin-offs included, that I've listened to the voice of the naysayer get quieter and quieter. No matter how you think you feel about reality TV, no matter what your intentions are going into this show, I've never met a person that's watched it and not been hooked. So that's why we're here. Look, as far as this dissection show goes, I want to take you through the process of what I go through watching these episodes. I don't go to the 90-day gossip sites. I don't watch all the exposing real-life videos. I stay within the confines of the reality presented to me by this reality show. So we stay in canon. Let's get to why we're here. Episode 14 of season 4 of Before the 90 Days, Hard Habit to Break. This is the third week in a row that I'm flabbergasted that at the end of an episode, I'm watching a video package that previews what's going to happen next time on Before the 90 Days. I would have sworn that after we find out that Lana is real, it's going to be the end of the season. But no, we approach episode 15 because we're stretching this thing out through quarantine. So let's get into the couples this week. Look, we're all still obsessed with no-neck-having, dog-loving, sweaty, mayo-haired, good-hearted, fun-loving, wonderful 4'11" Big Ed. But his time is coming to an end. Big Ed was obviously the favorite at the beginning of this season, but seeing Rose walk out on him last week, now he's flying back to America from the Philippines. He's declared himself a failure. But at least at 54 years old, he's got a great relationship with his mom. His mother was there to meet him at the airport. She was way more excited to see him than Rose was ever excited for him. So maybe that is the relationship he should have. Although I doubt that he ever insisted multiple times that his mother take an STD test before he would hang out with her. That was really it for Big Ed. We're going to see how he spins this thing to his daughter next week. But we spent a lot of time this week with Usman and Lisa, baby girl Lisa. And I mean, the longer this show goes, the more I just can't bring myself to care about Usman and Lisa. I'll watch them. It's a train wreck. She yells at him. He keeps saying he doesn't want to be controlled by her, and then she controls him. I mean, I have no idea why she hung out with his brothers and was like, hey, now that I've got your family here, why don't I explain to you all the problems we've been having in our relationship? Like, do you really think that culturally they're going to side with the American? But all that said, I can't sit here and love this couple because they're not Michael and Angela. Michael? That's all I see when I look at them. All I see is the fact that they're not Michael and Angela. And maybe if it weren't for Michael and Angela, I could sit here and I could enjoy the journey of SojaBoy and baby girl Lisa. But because I know that they will never rise to the feats of the Hall of Fame couple of Michael and Angela, this couple's not for me. All right, so for me, Stephanie and Erika for sure took over the middle of this season. Watching these two fight in Australia was some of the most entertaining television I've ever seen, especially because you don't expect it. I thought this was going to be the one healthy relationship on the show. And seeing them fight for weeks was amazing. You know, last week, seeing Stephanie invite Erika to have lunch with her for no reason. I mean, no reason. She just wanted Erika to come and hang out with her so that maybe Erika could apologize to Stephanie. Stephanie's just sitting there going like, I know I've got issues with jealousy that I have to work on. And it's like, yeah, but I was with Erika when she was sitting there going like, you still work on them. I don't know what you want from me. You know, we've gone through this already. I know, but this week to see Stephanie, poor unaware Stephanie, hanging out at the airport going, I was really hoping that Erika would be here to just give me a hug. Like, Why would Erika be there to give you a hug? If you haven't seen this thing, she spent 2 weeks. She flew all the way to Australia to hang out with this girl, Erika, who she met online. She spent the entire 2 weeks complaining about literally everything Erika did. Her entire lifestyle, Stephanie had a problem with. Then she broke up with Erika in Australia, 24 hours removed from Erika coming out to her parents. We watched the whole thing. Erika told her parents, "This is not my friend Stephanie. This is my girlfriend Stephanie." And the parents were supportive, and it was this wonderful moment, and it was big for Erika. And then probably less than 24 hours later, I think it was the next morning, Stephanie goes, "Clearly this isn't working out." Erika was like, "Well, that was a huge exercise for no apparent reason." And then all her friends hate Stephanie. I mean, it was a disaster, but it was such a beautiful disaster to watch. So now to see Stephanie in the airport going, "Where's Erika? I really thought she would be here." It's like, based on what? Why would she be there? What would she say at the airport? "Hey, I know that the last 2 weeks was hell on earth for me. You completely turned my life upside down for no reason. I don't know why you came to Australia in the first place, but I wanted to make sure you left with a hug." Oh, okay, cool. "And, even hugging her because of my sickness, it's really, I went the extra mile. I'm hugging you right now, and I have an autoimmune deficiency." I know. I heard about it. If Erika in real life over those 2 weeks had to hear half as much about that autoimmune deficiency that we've had to hear about on this season of television, God bless her for putting up with it. But the struggle that Stephanie was having now that she's back in the United States was, like, they were showing her on the drive home, and her mom came to pick her up at the airport too. And a big thing was that Stephanie, at 29, did not know how to come out as bisexual to her mother. Look, if at 29 you are single and ready to mingle, you meet a person of the same sex online, you fly across the globe to hang out with them for 2 weeks, to meet their family, and you never travel, odds are your parents are going to realize that you're not there just to be buds. There is no way that this poor girl, Stephanie's mother, does not realize that her daughter is not straight and is probably okay with it because it's 2020 and her daughter's 29 years old. We saw Darcy on this episode because she's Darcy. We found out a little more about her family. We found out about her brother passing away. People are wondering, why is Darcy on this season at all? I'll tell you why Darcy is on this season, because Darcy is the GOAT. Darcy is the Michael Jordan of before the 90 days. And as long as this franchise exists, the producers should absolutely find a reason to just have Darcy's face implanted on the screen. Ash and Avery have become my favorite couple on the entire show. It's because they just don't like each other. They started liking each other. They liked each other when they were talking on the internet, but something changed. I think it was right around the time that Ash was giving that speech or whatever it was to that group of women. Avery saw how much he sucked, and Ash witnessed this woman criticizing his grand work. After that point, watch their body language, listen to the way they talk to each other. These two people do not like each other. And I think for two different reasons, they're pretending that everything's okay. I think Ash is the type of guy who doesn't worry about tomorrow. He says, whatever's in this moment, I'm just going to try to make it okay. Whatever I have to say, whatever I have to do, I'm going to try to gloss over this moment, make sure everybody's okay, and we'll figure out tomorrow. I mean, at one point, I think it was last week, when Avery's going, I also had a question. I talked to your ex-wife. She said you only divorced a year ago. And then he just goes, oh, yeah, that's right. I did say that we had gotten divorced a while ago. Yeah. Kind of a big lie, but Avery decided that, it was okay. They were able to have a healthy conversation about it. Look, Ash doesn't like Avery anymore. Ash realizes that he's got 24 hours before Avery's going to be on a plane back to the United States, and then she's going to be somebody else's problem. So Ash is just saying whatever he needs to say right now. You should the look on his face when he's got those eyes out, and everything he says, me, when he's got those eyes out, and he goes, he goes, look, I want to propose to you. I know I'm going to propose to you. I just don't think now is the right time. You can see the smile that he's trying to hide when Avery goes, yeah, I guess you're right. Like, it's one of those things where I feel like every conversation they're having, they're trying to convince the other one to end it, hoping. Like last week, they're going, like, the girl, Avery, goes to Ash and she goes, instead of you coming back to America with me and we'll get married and spend our lives together, maybe just in a few months, you'll just come for like 3 months. And then Ash goes, yeah, I think that's a really good idea. And then Avery's like, oh, this conversation was so healthy. No, it wasn't, because neither of you are being honest with the fact that you don't like each other. Ash is sitting there going, yeah, I'll just tell you that I'll come at some point, visit America in 3 months. Don't worry, I'll definitely be there. And then once you're in America, it's so much easier to just shut you out. And then Avery, I believe, is trying to come to terms with the fact that she has completely wasted her time coming to Australia. Avery is trying to come to terms with this idea that this was not what she had in mind at all. She's got a toddler at home. She's got people doubting her. She's trying to create this life. She does not want this to be a bust, but it is the bust of the century. She doesn't want this guy. She can't bring this guy back to America and introduce him as the man that she has put her life on pause for. So she's just in full denial mode, where she's just sitting there going, yeah, I think this could be really good. Maybe now we don't lock it down, but, I think we're going to keep it going, and then maybe in a few years we'll get married. No, you won't. No, you won't. You're just trying to make sure if you leave the trip on a happy note, it wasn't a waste of time. They have two separate motives for pretending that they don't hate each other. One wants to make sure that the trip wasn't a waste of time and they can both leave happy. The other wants them both to leave happy, so it just makes his life easier. And then he can move on to the next day. Obviously, I love them and I'm optimistic, so I'm sure they're going to end up together forever. So David and Lana had an absolutely killer week. Getting to know Lana has been one of the great joys of this entire season. We spent all this time thinking she wasn't a real person. We meet her now, and I have never in my life seen less chemistry between two people. It's unbelievable. I feel like I'm watching hostage tape as I'm watching Lana just be social with David, just interact with him. I mean, when you show up after 7 years of talking to this person on the internet and you meet them for the first time and they give you a big hug and your response is arms by your side and you're emoting the way a foot soldier does in the Ninja Turtles, it's cold is not a good excuse. So during their first date, Lana got mad at David because Lana found out that David had done this terrible thing. You see, after talking for 7 years on a pay dating website, Lana had not shown up on dates that David had flown to the Ukraine for, a total of, I believe, 5 times. After the 5th time, David confessed that he hired a handful of very, very bad, seemingly inexpensive private investigators to try to find Lana. Lana was very, very upset with this. Very upset with this. David said, I went to the address that you gave me. It was a fake address. The producer said, why did you give David a fake address? Lana said, you really shouldn't give your address to strangers on the internet. Nobody followed up with her. You had been talking to him for 7 years. He had flown to the Ukraine 5 times to meet you. That follow-up wasn't made. Lana just stands by. Well, you're not supposed to give your address out on the internet, so I just gave him a fake one. I wonder if that guy that David met at the door actually got David's flowers. So it's okay. Lana forgave him. And David got a beautiful first kiss from Lana this week on Before the 90 Days. It really was wonderful. I mean, they went out bowling. The two of them, I didn't know that bowling was big in the Ukraine, but David went out bowling. We got to see a picture of David in his 20s with a beautiful trash stash and letting him know that he spent some time in his 20s bowling. So He can bowl a strike. That's information we knew, but Lana did not know. When the bet was put down, David said into his Google Translator app, of course, Lana, if I hit a strike, if I knock all the pins down, you have to give me a kiss. And instead of kind of being cute and, it's one of those bets like in Happy Gilmore, where even if you don't get a strike, you're still going to get the kiss. Lana looked like she was making like a humiliation bet. Like, okay, I'll do it. And so she agreed to it. I mean, right before this, probably the best single scene in this entire season was David and Lana walking past a giant sign that said LOVE on it. And watching them walk past it, David, of course, wearing his leather trench coat that Lana had insulted to producers, which blew my mind. But walking past the giant love sign and seeing David, he kept glancing at the sign, thinking, I can make a move here. I can make this romantic. And Lana, just a deer in headlights, looking straight ahead, praying that David did not bring up the sign next to her. Oh, no, I didn't see the love sign. Sorry, David. We're going to keep going to the bowling alley. I mean, it was just like, it's everything. It says everything. That one scene told the entire story. So they go bowling. David fails to hit a strike his first, several attempts. He goes to Lana, hey, maybe I get the kiss anyway. Lana goes, nope, you don't win this bet. No, absolutely not. David does hit a strike. Lana did not realize that mustache 20-year-old David knew how to hit strikes. David hits a strike, knocks all the pins down at once, and he leans in. Lana, when he hits that strike and he turns to Lana and smiles, Lana has an audible, horrified gasp and a visual cringe of pure terror as she covers her face. And then she does. She allows David to embrace her, and with all the romance of the kiss that you gave your great Aunt Sally at your last family reunion, David and Lana finally embrace. There is something so dehumanizing about watching a man go in for a kiss on the lips and getting a cheek in return. And I mean, Lana was wrestling, and David was trying to wrestle too. David saw, you could see it. If you go in slow-mo, I'm not going to play the clip because I keep getting busted for copyright, but you go in slow-mo, and you can see Lana starts to turn her head. David starts to turn with it. Lana turns quicker. David goes in. That's why it's not like right on the cheek. It's on like this part of the cheek because David is trying to turn with her. And then he gives her that like extra hug after, thinking it's going to be like a movie where you do one like nice kiss and then you go in for the big Frencher. And he goes in for that second hug squeeze and doesn't realize that as far as Lana is concerned, the embrace is officially over. Now, Lana has said she finds David very attractive. She said he's more attractive than he was in the photos. I mean, look, there is something about the way Lana speaks to producers, especially in this episode, that it seems like she's an old school wrestler trying to keep kayfabe. Like nothing Lana says to producers seems like it's true. Nothing. Are you getting paid to socialize with David? No. How much money has David given you? Next question, please. I mean, it's damning, I would call it. I would call it damning. But she says David is more attractive in person than he was in his photos. And one of the things she finds most attractive about David is that David lives in Las Vegas, where she has heard you can get married within hours. So, there is a connection there, is what I'm trying to say. David brings up the fact that, he wants to marry her. And Lana said that, she's not 100% sure about that, which the fact that after everything David has gone through, Lana is still wearing the pants here tells you everything you need to know. It's tragic. It is tragic. David invites her back to his hotel room. She says, it's a little early for that. She politely declines. They literally spend the whole episode just going to different locations so that David can take photos of the two of them to prove to United States immigration that this is not a scam. If they're looking to prove that this is not a scam, I really hope that United States immigration does not get TLC, because this is not a good episode for them to watch. Not a good episode. I hope Lana comes to the States. I hope they live happily ever after. I think they very well might. I hope Lana gets to the States and marries him and then realizes she really is stuck. I want to see them be together, and I think they will. And by the way, once you're married to Lana, David, you listen to me. David, once you marry Lana, don't you ever take off that leather trench coat, because that leather trench coat brings you power. I could watch David and Lana forever. But I feel like this episode, another couple came and took the throne. And that couple is, of course, Geoff with a G and Varya, who are now joined by Mary. So Geoff with a G leaves Russia after he proposes to Varya, and Varya says, I don't know if I'm ready to get married right now. Geoff with a G, at 41 years old, declares on camera, I don't believe in love anymore, and leaves Russia and immediately goes to his, and I think she's a nice woman, but a woman who appears to be very thirsty, Mary, who made embarrassingly overt gestures towards him before he left for Russia. He immediately goes on a date with her. And I mean, you just watch the chemistry between these two. On the date, he goes, well, here's the thing, Mary. Our friendship is so great. I really don't want to ruin our friendship. I think it's so great what we have, and I want you in my life forever. So, I mean, do you want a friendship or a relationship? And she goes, I want a relationship. And he goes, oh, yeah, me too. But like the signals are everywhere. Poor Mary just wants to be in a relationship with this guy. I don't know why Geoff with a G is so attractive to her. I hear he's done terrible things in his life. But she so wants Geoff with a G to be her boyfriend. He's walking around the whole time. He never says he and Mary are in a relationship. He says, we're working on being in a relationship. What's the work? We're working on starting a relationship. There's no work. You kiss on the lips. You go, hey, will you be my boyfriend? Yeah, I'll be your boyfriend. You want to be my girlfriend? Yeah, I'll be your girlfriend. And you're in a relationship. It takes one conversation. It takes 2 seconds. But they have not had that conversation. Varya, we found out at the very end of last week's episode, I believe, Varya decides that not David, that's Lana's boyfriend, Geoff with a G, has not responded to her texts since he left Russia. So Varya is going to, unannounced, get a tourist visa and fly to America so she can surprise Geoff with a G on his doorstep. She does just that, and we get to witness the crazy Russian come out in Varya as she sees another woman in Geoff with a G's house, Mary, who Mary was told that the relationship is over. And she starts cursing at her in Russia and calling her a bitch and saying, you're in the wrong, you need to leave. Which clearly, Mary was not in the wrong. But Varya, she traveled across the world and also has all her bags. She doesn't have a hotel room. She really needs to stay in Geoff with a G's place. So Geoff with a G lets Mary storm off and then lets Varya come in and appears to say, okay, Varya, you can stay. I mean, crazy Varya coming out is the entertainment that I've been looking for the entire season that I didn't realize I needed. Watching Geoff with a G and Varya go hang out with Geoff's friends, who are also the other girl, Mary's friends. All his friends think that Geoff is going to show up with their buddy Mary. And then Varya shows up with him, and Geoff with a G just is like, I thought this would be cool. I thought this seemed like a good idea. And then Mary shows up anyway. Mary shows up on her own, and she's there, and Varya's there, and Geoff with a G is there. And Geoff with a G has this dopey look on his face like, how did all this happen? It's like, you did it. You did all of this. This is all on you. Of course. I don't know why this always happens to me. Well, I'm glad it does. I think I know why it always happens to you. I think it's probably you. But regardless of why it happens to you, I'm glad that it does happen to you. Because we've seen the preview next week. There is a 15th episode of this season. I swear to God, I was sitting there last night watching this show going, of course they're going to preview the reunion special is next week, right? No. A 15th episode is coming next week. And I can't wait for it. I can't wait. We're going to see another confrontation between Mary and Varya. We're going to see another instance of poor David being a sucker. It looks like he's going to propose to Lana. Big Ed talked to his daughter. We saw that on a preview. So much. I guess there's still so much story to tell, and that's why it's worth investing a grand total of 438 hours so you can watch all 15 episodes of this season. But it's worth it. At the end of the day, it's all worth it. I hope you've enjoyed this. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Turn your alerts on and hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you want me to cover. Maybe watch next week's episode on Sunday, and as soon as that episode is done, come on back here, hit me up in the comments and say, you got to talk about this. You got to talk about that. What'd you think about this? What'd you think about that? And we'll be back next week with another episode of Notsam's 90-Day Dissection, starring yours truly, the last professional broadcaster, Sam Roberts.